Feels a little ominous now that it looks like the storm clouds are coming in. Could we experience fallout? We'll see.
Maybe.
There are some events in the world of birding that transcend the typical experience and become something truly unique. One such event is the Biggest Week in American Birding Festival that takes place each May. The Biggest Week is actually 1 week and 2 weekends, set in northern Ohio just south of Lake Erie, and organized by the Black Swamp Bird Observatory. The festival is known for its wide array of activities available to participants, including keynote speakers, workshops, trivia contests, and of course, plenty of birding. We were lucky enough to be able to attend the festival with special access to many of the people that make the Biggest Week one of the premier events, if not the premier event, on the calendar for birders. We arrived in Ohio the day before the festival was set to begin. Just got to our hotel in Ohio and it is 2 a.m. It's been raining pretty hard most of the trip, but there's robins singing all over the place here. 2 a.m. I can hear them from pretty much every corner of the hotel. After getting a few hours of sleep, we woke up extremely early the next day to see the first field trip vans departing from Maumee Bay Lodge, the epicenter of festival activities. There we also heard a nocturnal bird species.
Just arrived bright and early at the Maumee Bay Lodge, and it looks like the vans are getting ready to go. So these are the first field trips that are going to go out for the festival. There's a lot of space here, a lot of great parking, a decent number of people, so I'm assuming everyone's pretty pumped for their field trips today. Oh yeah!
Got a nice nocturnal species, the whippoorwill, that's popping off from this woodline here.
Whoa.
There it goes. Oh, that's a robin.
Well,
You got me for a second. But there's a whippoorwill in here. That's
yeah,
pretty
that was
cool. I'd add that one to our Ohio list right away.
After adding whippoorwill to our newly created Ohio Life lists, we caught up with Tyler Ficker, the communications specialist for the Black Swamp Bird Observatory, and an integral member of the Biggest Week team.
With this being our first day of van trips for the festival, everything is new for the overall festival checklist. So migration is really picking up. We have quite a few warblers, shorebirds starting to arrive. Waterfowl is still here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the van trips turn up about 150 to 160 species today between all of the current birds and all the new arrivals last night.
Eventually, the sky started to lighten, and without any festival activities to attend, we of course decided it would be the perfect time to start birding.
Got a little chipping sparrow skirmish that just happened here. It looks like the street lights are starting to turn off, so stuff's waking up, it's starting to get light out. We actually have a few birds on our list already just being in this parking lot, so that's cool. But we're gonna go to McGee Marsh, one of the biggest hot spots in all of Ohio.
McGee Marsh is one of the most well-known birding locations in the Midwest, if not the entire United States. Sitting along the shores of Lake Erie and containing many different habitats, including forests and marshes, this hotspot is an ideal place to spend a day during spring migration. Joined by Tyler and another one of our friends, Rob, we got our first looks ever at McGee Marsh.
We're at McGee Marsh and Tyler and Rob are with us, so I'm hoping that especially having some extra people here and people who are really good birders is going to help pick out as many species as possible. Already had black-throated green warbler, got a warbling vireo, so there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. It is a little windy though, so we'll see how that plays out.
While McGee Marsh as a whole is iconic, the boardwalk there is on a whole other level, often playing host to tons of birders during this time of the year. The boardwalk gives observers the chance to see birds at eye level. As soon as we arrived, we made our way over.
we're on the actual boardwalk here at McGee Marsh, and they have these really nice warbler photos. So even if you're a beginner, you can come and see what species you might see in their spring plumage. And they have the nice McGee Marsh sign. It feels so cool to be in such an iconic location.
Right now the boardwalk is a little empty because we're here before 7 o'clock, but as more birds and people arrive to the area, it's going to get pretty congested here. But it's a really fun time.
Even though the boardwalk wasn't particularly crowded, the warblers were still putting on a nice show.
Got a northern parula that was just sitting there. Saw a palm warbler too, so accumulating some species for sure.
Does feel a little slow.
It feels a little slow and it feels a little ominous now that it looks like the storm clouds are coming in. Could we experience fallout? We'll see.
Maybe.
Well, this area is known for ridiculous numbers of birds when the conditions are right. On this day, the weather was proving not to be in our favor.
Sometimes the rain can make for some of the most fun birding here. However, the wind patterns have not set us up for that today.
They set us up for failure is what they set us up for.
But this rain is because the winds are shifting out of the south right now, and that's going to bring a lot of new birds overnight.
Suddenly, the skies opened up, putting an abrupt end to our time on the boardwalk.
Just got absolutely drenched with a storm that suddenly came through. So I think our birding at the boardwalk for now is going to be done. We may hit up some places where we can look for birds from the car, but that was a lot of rain coming in really quick.
Yeah, it happens really quick. We were just looking at warblers 1 second, then we were getting poured on the next second. So that's too bad. That's kind of our first boardwalk experience that we got rained out, but I think it was a little slow. We did have parula. I mean, we have high expectations for the boardwalk from what we've heard. We did have some cool stuff there, but I think it's going to get a little crazier later in the festival.
Not content to call it quits on our birding adventure, we changed locations and headed to Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge. Here, we immediately spotted trumpeter swans and other species, all from the car.
Found a great egret. Actually, found a couple of great egrets, but one was pretty nice and close to the road. You can actually see that green on the face, which is a really distinctive feature of those birds when they're in breeding plumage, so that's pretty cool. And then also a couple of other classic marsh species, Canada goose and then red-winged blackbird, that even though it is raining, was still calling and did not care whatsoever. Gotta love that about the red-winged blackbird.
We continued through the refuge, finding many different species of birds to add to our Ohio life list. Eventually, it was time for us to move on.
We found some pretty good birds at this wildlife refuge. I do wonder if some of them still have to come up yet, because we didn't see a lot of the marsh birds that you kind of expect, like no bitterns, no gallinules, no yellow-headed blackbirds. I don't know if those nest here or not, but that's what we kind of find back in Wisconsin, those sorts of places. So we may have to hit it again, but if we don't, it was still fun to go birding there.
I think we had a good time at this loop. I do like auto tours, and kind of like you saw, when it rains, it's a good thing to do because then you can just stay in the car and bird. So I think we saw a lot of cool things. The trumpeter swans are really neat as well. Always appreciate a good trumpeter swan.
Before going to another birding location, we made a stop at a coffee shop where we fueled up and had a cool experience learning about how the beans are roasted.
We just stopped and got some coffee. The coffee shop was super cool. It's called Bright House. We met the owner and he was a really nice guy. Gave us some stickers, gave us a tour of the shop and how they roast the coffee. Turns out they're getting coffee from all over the world in a bunch of different kinds. We learned more about coffee than I ever thought that there was to know, actually. So I would highly recommend that place. Now I think we're going to go back to the boardwalk to see if we can track down some more warblers, in particular a Brewster's warbler, which is actually a crossbreed between a golden-winged warbler and a blue-winged warbler. So I guess it would kind of be like a lifer for us because we've never seen that particular hybrid, even though it's not its own species, but we're still going to try. It'd be a cool bird to see.
Aaron, one of the guides, found it, so we're going to head to the location. I'm not sure if at Biggest Week, if when a rare bird is found, there's going to be a billion people there. I kind of feel like there will be, but it'll be an interesting experience. Excited to see if we can find that Brewster's.
Back at McGee Marsh, we started from the eastern end of the boardwalk.
Now starts our quest for the Brewster's warbler. Nobody seems that excited right now, so I assume it's kind of moved on, but it's got to be around here somewhere. So we're just going to look at everything we can see, and hopefully we get our Brewster's.
We quickly arrived at the point where many people had already staked out the Brewster's warbler, and eventually it came out into view.
Maybe that was what I saw instead of the yellow.
This is the little hub of activity right now. We've got the Brewster's warbler, Nashville in there, and then Scarlet Tanager just came out of nowhere, putting on a nice show right now. So there's lots of stuff people want to see, and there's tons of people here.
The Brewster's warbler stayed for a while, singing the golden-winged warbler song, as many happy birders watched from the boardwalk. This was our first experience at the festival birding with a crowd, but it certainly wouldn't be our last.
That was a whirlwind. We saw some cool birds, but it was a massive group of people, which is like, it's cool that everybody gets to see it, but it also feels like you're constantly just in everybody's way. So it's kind of a interesting experience for sure. But nice to have like a lot of eyes looking at stuff, because we found some other stuff. There's scarlet tanager, black and white warbler in there. So I think once you find one thing, you can find other things mixed in. But it's definitely an experience I haven't been in with the crowd like that.
We continued west on the boardwalk, finding new birds in what was an extremely fun experience.
Parulas, man.
What's up with the parulas here?
So hot right now.
Beautiful Baltimore oriole up there singing away. The birds all of a sudden are just coming right up to us. There was a warbling vireo that was literally 5 feet away. The parulas are getting close, and then this oriole just popped into view. So even though it's technically not supposed to be the best part of the day for birding, it's a little late, everything's coming out.
We've got some beautiful Cape May warblers today. Really cooperative. Everything has been pretty cooperative. Blackbird and blue's been a little tough, but otherwise it's been really good.
We're sitting here watching this bald eagle, and it has this massive, beautiful stick nest that it made. And watching it just looks so regal and so at ease. And every time I see something like that with a bald eagle just sitting high up in the trees like that, surveying the landscape, I just think what a life for that bird. Doesn't really have any predators, doesn't really have anything to worry about. Total freedom, pretty cool.
So we've had a lot of good stuff on the boardwalk. I feel like I'm definitely seeing the appeal. It's much longer than I thought. And there's just so much to see. Like, you can go every couple feet and see a new bird. We had an oven bird, there was a bay breast, and there's so many people to help find it. So I definitely am understanding the boardwalk appeal.
I'm definitely also enjoying the boardwalk. What's cool is that there's just so many people that will help you see stuff. You know, you'll walk 10 feet and someone will be like, oh, I had this over here. And then you're like, oh, cool, I had this over here. And then you're all looking for the same birds, basically. So it's just a really nice mix of people helping people find cool birds. And there's a lot of them here to see.
After feeling like we had seen everything there was to see at the boardwalk, we eventually exited this iconic birding spot.
Well, I thought that was incredible. I totally understand why people say what they do about this festival. That was really cool. I can't wait to be back in this boardwalk later in the week.
Next, we went back to the place we started the day, Maumee Bay Lodge. There, we checked in, got our name badges, and started exploring.
So we're walking around the marketplace after checking in. So marketplace is where they have like the tour groups, people selling books, shirts and stuff like that. And then Optics Alley is separate. At some festivals it's kind of together. So here it seems like it's separate. This is more kind of the tour groups and buying things, not optic related. And then Optics have their own Optics Alley section.
The lodge hosted many different things, including nightly dinners and an incredible array of vendor booths. We listened to the opening ceremonies and then got going on the festivities.
So we had the opening ceremony, now we're just hanging out, eating some dinner. I think we're going to take it easy tonight because we have not had a lot of sleep, but it's been super fun and I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Before ending the day, we decided to take a walk around the lodge, which was right along the shores of Lake Erie.
We're just taking a little post-dinner stroll kind of on the beachy area on the shores of Lake Erie, just kind of seeing what birds are around. It's very beautiful, super pleasant out here.
This made for beautiful scenery as the sun was starting to set. Additionally, we found a few new birds for the day as well.
We had a couple spotted sandpipers, some purple martins, white-crowned sparrow, white-throated sparrow walking the beach. It's a really beautiful area. There's another great egret coming in. We already had two. And so we're just gonna cruise up here and then work our way back over to the car and then probably call it a night.
We ended our first day of the biggest week in American birding with 70 species. There would be many more exciting things to experience in the days to come, so stay tuned for those videos to be released. For more information on this amazing festival, check out the website link in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.